Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the GOMTV GSTL. This is the Jupiter League tonight. I am Unstable, joined here by Wolf, and we have a very special match coming up. It is Slayers versus TSL. You excited, Wolf?
I can hardly contain myself, actually. This is going to be a really good match. TSL, I think, definitely the underdogs here today, but they've got some great new players coming in. I mean, I say new players, but it's actually not really that they're new players, just that they've always been decent, but they've been improving suddenly, improving themselves. But first up here, we're going to take a look at Slayers coming down the line here. Something you'll notice there at the back, there's a girl, the first female pro gamer to play at the GSL. She is right there. She is, well, she may not play necessarily, but she is on their player roster. And she is Slayers Ibu. And Slayers Jessica approached me about this beforehand, saying, no, she's actually a player. It's not just like a scheme. She is a female pro gamer, man. I don't know what the 3 means, but that guy's got a 3 on his shirt. I can't even tell what that is either.
Well, Slayers does have a massive lineup. They've got over 20 players last time I checked. It's really good to really grow the potential inside. There were so many practice partners, and even any new players who are just into the game could get so much more improvement just from being in this team. I think she just got like hit in the head.
Yeah, Stella was just giving her a pat on the forehead, man.
No, I think when his hand went up, he hit her.
Oh, is that really what happened?
I think.
Alright, that guy is the lucky Slayers flag holder, banner, whatever you want to call it. There's Slayers Boxer there in the middle, at the front row. He's wearing a number 2. Are they trying to declare which order of players they're using? Like, Boxer's coming out second. Whoever, where did this guy with the 3 go?
Well, he has come out very recently.
Alright, so obviously in point ranking, Slayers is first. 2-time champion team. You can see their key players. There are Alicia, Boxer, and MMA. And their closer is often MMA, obviously.
I think it's always been MMA.
Yeah, I think he is their final player in general.
Of course, their captain as well.
Yep. And you can see the coach there is Hong Sung Pyo, which is of course Stella. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to take the match today, but they're not going to be overconfident.
It's not going to be easy for them.
Absolutely not. Check out that graph. 6 Terran players, 2 Pross, and 2 Zergs. Obviously a very Terran-flavored team.
And of course on the left we have the graph. That's their win rates versus certain teams in their divisions. Of course 1-1 with MVP, considering last season, and of course taking out the GSTL. There we are.
See all those players there. Ryung looks the coolest, man. He's like taking a picture of himself. I actually really like that pose. So, we've got Alicia, of course, the chosen one on this team. Don't forget about Frozen and Taja, former member of the ZeNEX team.
Ganji's nothing to be trifled with either.
Yep, and Slayers Lots over there on the side is the starter for today. So look for him in the booth. Slayers men on the right. He looks pretty scary, man.
He does. Everyone on this team is scary. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I actually don't know. The only person who I'm looking at on this team who doesn't look like, oh, I've seen games of this guy is pretty scary, is that girl, Slayers Ibu. And, you know, I haven't seen her yet, so I can't even make that judgment call. And that itself is kind of scary, man. It's a female pro gamer. That's not something you see every day.
We have TSL coming out.
Oh, look at that. They put the music there so you guys can tell what team they chose.
Did he just almost get burnt by the fire? I swear I saw him just go,
Coach Lee there in the middle. Now you can see TSL, a team that's not very large right now, but that's kind of something that Lee has decided that he's going to stick with a smaller group of players. They're all very solid. They practice with a lot of other teams as well. They're not, you know, just exclusive to their own team. But
well, all teams in Korea do that to an extent anyway.
They really do. And so, you know, don't look at this team and say, well, they hardly have any practice partners to work with. You know, it's not a team like We Made Fox that's like extremely small where it might actually become a problem.
Well, when it comes to GSTL, a lot of teams in the Jupiter group will practice with the Venus group. Practice with FXO a lot. I'm sure TSL practices with FOU and those. So even though they do have, like you're saying, that small roster, it's definitely not a hindrance to them.
This is true. Oh, there's, you know, you can see their key players there, Killer Alive and Clyde. And the closer there is Gentleman, formerly known as Puma.
Oh, when did he change his name?
Well, he's been kind of using the name here and there. In the foreign scene, people still really refer to him as Puma, though. So I guess we'll call him Gentleman. He is quite the gentleman. I don't know if that's a gentlemanly pose. He should have pretended to have a monocle or something.
All these players extremely successful recently. And then another Terran heavy team.
A lot of Korean teams in general are very Terran heavy. There are just so many good Terrans in Korea right now. And I think a lot of that comes on, this is my personal opinion, I know a lot of angry people on the internet are going to disagree. It's my personal opinion that Terran was one of the most hard and difficult races to play in StarCraft 1. And so a lot of the players who switched over from StarCraft 1 just switched over to Terran as well, and they found it really, easy for them to just kind of slide in, and they have a lot better mechanics. Not necessarily the case, but in a lot of cases, Terran was, in my opinion, the hardest race to play, and that's, that's my way of looking at it. But there are a lot of reasons. The more Terrans there are, the easier it is to become a good Terran, because you have a lot more good Terrans to learn from. Just kind of snowballs
we
like
have the TSL lineup on screen now. I look at Killer and I keep smiling.
Yeah, he looks like he's like surfing or something, man. And JYP over there on the left, he's shown some solid play in some foreign events, including FXOpen events. I've seen him play before.
Really strong micro.
There is our SC2 Con director going to be giving these guys the rules, making sure they don't beat each other up after the match. Coach Lee over there on the left, and Slayers. Lee, a very friendly guy, really loves to talk to foreigners, and of course Sella, you guys all know about him. Holy check, this guy talks to foreigners a lot. So just making sure they understand the rules, being very formal and nice to each other. I know I say this every time we go through it, but that's just how it is. That's what they're doing.
There's a lot of formalities in the Korean culture, so it actually comes into that. But I don't know, it's going to be a very close match.
It is. I still think that Slayers is definitely the favorite, but anything can happen. I don't think they're going to look at this cockily either. Like, I don't think they're going to go into this thinking, oh, well, it should be an easy match for us. No Korean teams ever do that, actually.
No, well, even if you do think that, you never go into it with that mindset, because everything can be an upset. You end up making mistakes you normally wouldn't, and it's not a good frame of mind to come into any match, even though you might think it in the back of your head. You never do that.
So check that out, twitter.com/GOMTV. Of course, go to m.gomtv.net on your mobile phone. Go to regular GOMTV.net on your computer. Go to FXO Wolf on Twitter. Go to FXO Unstable on Twitter. Go to Tasteless, or call me Tasteless, I should say.
You keep ruining his lineup.
I know, man. He's going to get so mad when he watches these VODs. And, of course, go to Artosis as well, the other GSL casters we have. You can go to follow Torch at Torch Gaming as well, just to give you guys every Twitter in the book. Follow Seltzer, please, if you want to follow Rachel, one of our CSN interviewers.
But, of course, the first map is going to be Crossfire.
Yes, it is.
And, of course, as we know, the starters for these guys are TSL's Revival and Slayer's Lots.
Yep.
So
lots of players that a lot of you guys haven't... Slayer's Lots. A lot of you guys haven't seen a lot of this guy's play. But he's got lots of things up his sleeve. You never really know what to expect from him. The thing about Lots is I've only seen him play TVT.
Yes.
And so I don't actually know how he plays his TVZ yet. And part of that goes into the viewer perspective, but as far as TSL's looking at it, I think they've probably played this guy a lot on the ladder.
Well, a lot of the Korean players have played each other on the ladder.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they'd actually practiced together as well, because everyone intermingles here. But he's had almost a week, because the starters actually told on Monday to the opposing teams. So he's had 4 or 5 days now to prepare solely for TVZ.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
something's going on in the studio. I don't know what it is. People got excited. They're banging the thunder sticks or boomsticks or noisemakers together. One of those. I got a lot of tweets about that last time we cast together.
And a lot of differing opinions, too. It doesn't really help.
Like, I got so many different responses, and I saw like people were arguing with each other over it on Twitter as they messaged me. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. But of course, like I was saying, a whole week to prepare for this specific matchup. Your entire team helps you with that as well, because you really need to get that first win under your belt and then force the other team to play a reaction.
Yeah, you're not going to pick a player who only has one good matchup as his start. So if he only practices one specific matchup, you're going to know that his other matchups are at least decent, because you're starting with him.
Of course, here he is, Slayer's Lots.
There he is. It's his first time in the GSTL. His GSL record is not very telling. Don't even pay attention to that. He is #1, so those stickers actually...
They might be true.
They might be true, man.
Playing a mind game here for players.
I really like that because it's kind of... It's not necessarily going to be the case, but it might trick the other players, the other team a little bit, you know? They might be thinking, oh, this could be their lineup. Maybe we should try to plan for that.
Well, either way, you have a whole week to decide. Like, all these Korean teams come into it knowing the matchups that they're good at, the matchups that they're not, and they've played out every single scenario. They'll have spreadsheets or they'll have a big whiteboard, and if this happens, we'll do this.
Yes.
If that happens, we'll do this. And they'll do every single combination. It is, of course, best of 7, so it's only four wins they need to get. It's not that complicated to map out.
You know what would be the bigger joke is if they only put someone with a 1 on, they didn't put any other numbers. They're just like, oh, we're so confident we're going to all kill you. Or everyone came in with like a 9 on their shirt. What does it mean? And the starter for TSL. Some of you guys have seen a lot. TSL Revival. He's got a lot of Korean fans here. And this guy, he's shown us some great play in all different sorts of matchups, especially his EVP. And his EVT, not too bad. In my experience casting him, I believe he does sometimes struggle in the early game, but his late game is very sick, very solid.
But of course, if we can notice that, so can Coach Lee. So that's something that we're definitely working on. A lot of Revival fans.
Yeah, Revival. TSL Revival, TSL Killer. Fans there in the audience. TSL noticing that, pointing at the screen. Look, we have fans!
Crowd's getting bigger and bigger here every day.
Oh, it really is. That's something that you guys can't necessarily see from watching online, but those of you guys who come here to Mukdong, come to the studio and check this out, you guys can see that the crowd is growing, starting to get some lines out the door sometimes, man. That's actually happened before, I'm not joking.
Of course, as we were saying, set 1 is Crossfire SE. I think the game's starting, Wolf.
It is starting. The countdown is starting at the very least. The map is loading. Will these guys cheat Crossfire, or will they try to engage in the middle of the map? A very difficult map for Zergs to play on. Let's find out here at the GSTL Jupiter.
Alright, now in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Slayers started for today. Relatively unknown to a lot of the players.
Slayers,
Both of these guys having a lot of fans here in the studio today, and Korean fans, not foreigners, so.
And his opponent started for TSL, a Red Zerg.
TSL Revival.
He's one of the newer players on TSL. He's not like Songho, aka Killer, who's been there since the beginning. And that's why I think it's kind of his name is ironic because he is somewhat of a revival for the team. Someone actually told me what his name meant on Twitter once. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like a Warcraft 3 thing, I think. I don't remember. But he has really made quite a splash for TSL. He's done a great job in the Super Tournament. I think he made it to the round of 8.
Well, all these guys on TSL are very strong players. There isn't really a weak... You can't look at their team and go, that guy's a weak player. Just because the standard here in Korea is so high. But we have seen some very interesting matches on this map recently.
Yeah,
last week.
We saw some crazy nukes just a few days ago.
From his teammate.
Is he going to go hatch first at the gold? Speaking of interesting builds, hatch first at the gold coming out from Revival. Now, sometimes you see builds like this with the starter player because they've had so long to prepare and they know exactly what map they're going to be playing on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's practiced against everything doing this build before.
Yeah. Well, what's probably happened is Revival sat there and I'm going to use this build, and then he's had his Terran
he's like, hey, Clyde, can you 2-racks me? 2-racks proxy me? Let's see if I can hold it.
Yeah, and pretty much goes through every single possibility. And there goes the pull. I wouldn't put it past Lots to actually notice the timing of this pull and go, hang on, what's going on here?
Yeah, most likely we will see that from him. Because obviously there's no way for his opponent to stop him from scouting that. And that SCV is going to come up in here without any Zerlings, without a Queen. You just can't stop that.
Yeah.
And here comes the SCV now. Is going to see everything. The thing about this gold base, though, is it's pretty far away, so even if he realizes what's going on, he's not going to see it for a while, and he can't know for absolutely sure until he does see it. And these drones are transferring right in that SCV's face.
Oh.
And Lots obviously realizes what's going on.
That's a big error there by... He's just giving it out.
I don't know if he actually cares. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so far away that what can he really do? There's already drones there to stop any bunkering, and it's too late. Lots has already started his reactor. He's doing his reactor Hellion build, so he can't, like, end the game now because he's already chosen the build order. But these drones are going to be very, very weak to those Hellions.
Well, it's just so vulnerable because there's two separate bases. Normally, you can just pull your drones from your natural into the main, put your queens on the ramp, and you'll be fine, but he's going to be in a very tough spot.
Yeah, there's two entrances to this base. There's two wide open ramps. There's not even a queen out here.
You can even go to the main as well.
He does have the Roach Warren out, so he's probably going to make a serious number of Roaches here, and he accidentally made way too many Overlords. Whoa, 28 out of 44 there. Should have been making some more Roaches, but he just does have 4 Roaches in production.
Well, he might
now.
just be thinking ahead because he wants to get as many Roaches out as possible.
It's a possibility. And this Hellion is going to come over here, do a little bit of harassment. The switch has been made. 2 Hellions coming out at a time here. Command Center has been started for Lots.
Well, something I'm just noticing, he's actually made 3 Roaches at the main and 3 Roaches at the gold. So that's definitely intentional by him there. But, oh, they're running away.
Yep, that actually was intentional. It's a good catch by you. He saved a little bit more larva than I had thought. Didn't really use it all on those drones. And at the gold base, this Hellion trying to get kills. Cannot, though.
It actually looks like he's going to be aggressive with these Roaches as well. We've seen this recently when Roaches do tank a lot of damage from a few numbers of Marines and some Hellions.
And these Roaches are going to come up here and try to pick off this Hellion.
Does get one. The Hellion's too far down.
What
is the supply depot doing down? He's actually sitting on top of it, no longer able to do anything with it.
Yeah, Lots is going to take a lot of damage here. More Roaches streaming in. He's just going to go for that depot. I like that choice.
He's going to stop any kind of block coming up. He doesn't want to get cornered. He needs a way to get away, to get off from these SCVs. He needs to move the weakened Roaches back.
Yeah, it's really difficult to micro like that on this ramp, though. He's just going to go for it instead. Does decide to back away as another Roach appears. Now he's going to pull
there's a Marauder there
back.
now, and that's really going to shut this down. He's actually going to get a second supply depot, being very punishing here. 2 Lots.
Yeah, Lots in a lot of trouble, man.
He needs to focus down these Marauders at the front. There are about 9 Roaches here, and he's going to have to pull his SCVs to be able to survive this. There we go.
Oh, man. These SCVs, he's losing a lot of them. He's already down to 15. He's not mining with a lot of those SCVs. He's just targeting down the SCVs. Down to 13 SCVs now. 12 SCVs.
He's even got more Roaches sitting there at the bottom of the ramp, so he's going to be able to get more and more SCVs. In the meantime, he has been staying steady on his drone count, wants to put as much pressure on as he can.
He's only at 20 drones. He just added a few more. He's now up to 22. He's going to add 4 more, so he's got a total of 6 drones on the way here.
Well, he's completely safe. There's nothing really Lots to do because he's in his base.
Exactly. And he's got the gold, man. Like, he's getting extra minerals. He doesn't even need as many drones as he would normally to have the income that he would normally at this part of the game. He's going to take out the Hellion. Even the Marine will go down here. This is looking really bad for Lots. I mean, he has a command center up, but his opponent has the gold. He has no real army that can punish a possible third base or that gold itself.
Well, he is. There we go. Looking at the workers.
18 workers killed. That's quite
only
a few.
8.5 minutes into the game.
And 0 workers killed with those reactor Hellions, man.
Yep.
And make that 18-19 as he kills the SCV, building the bunker.
These Roaches continuing to be aggressive. He's really taking advantage of the fact that he went for those Hellions. Now that I'm looking at this game, how it's progressed out, I think transferring those drones is a good idea.
I think so too, man. I mean, I absolutely thought that was good from the beginning. I didn't agree with the Overlords. I was like, why do you make that many? But he had just enough larvae to make like 6 or 7 Roaches at that moment, so it actually made sense for him to do that. I thought it was a mistake at first. And he planned it out so perfectly, man. Yeah, when you practice this build this many times, you just don't make mistakes. Unless you you choke. But Revival is a player who has been in the GSL several times. He's got a lot of experience.
Yep. And actually, Lots still supply blocked.
Yeah, he is
30 supply.
Tough shape, man.
If we have a look at the units here, 19 SCVs to 42 drones. Lots hasn't even had a chance to move his command center to his natural. There's no way for him to do it. He can't be safe. There's even Lings coming down, just controlling the entire map. If you look at Revival's actual vision of the map, his Overlords are everywhere. There is nowhere that Lots can go to actually see what's going on.
And right now, remember, Lots hasn't moved that command center down. He's stuck in his base. Speed is about to finish, as well as the Baneling Nest. I think what we're going to see is just crazy Baneling aggression as that third base goes up. We'll get a shot of it in a second. He is making that third base. Perfect timing on this third. He's just going to get extremely aggressive with these Banelings. And he's always going to keep Lots on the back foot. And if Lots makes any mistakes, he's actually just going to die.
Yeah. Well, with this amount of units, he can just start pumping as many as he can. And if he can stop that natural from going down, or even delaying it as long as he can, it'll just increase his lead, which is already almost double the supply.
+1 missile or melee attacks, Baneling speed, Roach speed, Spire on the way. He's getting everything. No Banelings just yet. Just realizing that there's still no command center there. Why would I even attack? I don't need to.
No.
He's got already his 4 gas up. He's had those gases mining at the gold base almost since its inception.
And here we go. We do have him moving down now. The Zergling's just forcing the units back up the ramp. Doesn't want to get surrounded.
Since its inception, just makes me think about that movie. I'm like, I just said Inception.
But of course, there's not enough Ling count there for Revival to actually do as much damage as he wants to do, so he's just going to wait for reinforcement. This wise choice. But that third is now up for Revival.
This is true. And more Roaches, 12 Banelings on the way. Baneling speed and Roach speed about to finish up here, and it looks like Lots is finally going to get aggressive, but with half the supply of his opponent having a essentially perfect composition to deal with this, it's just not really going to work. He's made a lot of Marauders, which are going to be quite helpful until the Mutas start flying around. And he's actually going to go home fearing a counterattack here. Yeah. And this is a tough spot to be in for Lots. He just he's very reluctant to move out.
Baneling speed just finished as well.
Yep. And look at that crease spread from the gold. It's actually really helping him reinforce here. He's trying to use Crossfire to his advantage, using that terrain to where the melee units can't catch him in a bad spot. He keeps picking off that tower if you're going to drop Marine here. That's really cute.
Yeah. But that being said, Revival is just being relentless with his map presence. He sees every single base with his Overlords. He knows exactly where Lots is going to be at any point in time. So even if he was down on supply, he's still in an advantageous position.
And these Tumors, unfortunately, were not cancelled.
Looks like we are going to see a drop.
Yeah, he wants to drop here.
But there's nowhere he can go. There's Overlords everywhere.
The Overlords see him at every turn, and he knows this. And this tower at very point of... It's a highly contested area there.
Well, once Siege Mate finishes, Lots should be able to defend that pretty easily. But we're also having a 4th base go up at the top left-hand corner. For Revival, his Mutas are start to coming. He sees this dropship coming from the left. There's going to be Lings already sitting there. A Muta coming to harass that.
Not good. 4 Lots, and that dropship should be picked off by these Mutas. That's that. Well, actually, it looks like he may save it. Not quite. Nice attacks here by Lots, though he's not given up yet. Going around the map, cleaning up tumors where he can. Always a really important thing to do in this matchup, in all matchups versus Zerg, except ZVZ sometimes. And actually in ZVZ sometimes it is a good idea, depending on what units your opponent is making.
But of course, looking at the supply, it seems like he's just delaying the inevitable here. Like, he's stuck on those 2 bases. He literally cannot go anywhere else.
Yeah, these Marines are getting cleaned up here at the Watchtower. And the Banelings are ready. Well, they were ready.
I like this by Revival, though. He's not giving away his advantage. He's just waiting for the right moment to go through.
Oh, I know what he's going to do. He's going to try to bait the Marines up onto the ramp, I think, and then try to trap them in there with the Lings. Because he's coming around from the other side. Remember, he can break down the backdoor rocks as well and try to go right into the main base of Lots.
Yep.
He may even use Baneling landmines.
Oh, but he's been spotted.
He does have Burrow. But like you're saying, yeah, now Lots knows exactly what he's dealing with, and I don't know if that really helps him. I think it's just going to make him really scared.
He's trying to bait these units into the siege range, but like we were saying, he's got his Mutas poised to come into the natural area.
And here they come!
And just backing up a little bit, there's a lot of Marines, a turret there as well. I think he was just put off a little bit because that was put a bit in the perfect time for his flank to come from the bottom right. But unfortunately, he was pushed off. Lots moving out here. He only has 4 tanks in this composition scan going down to get rid of the creep tumors. He's just being very, very careful. He knows he's in a very weak spot. But right now, Revival maxed out, starting to gain a lot of resources.
Yeah, right now, upgrade-wise, he only has +1 melee attacks. He doesn't have 2 yet.
Oh, the turret goes down in the mineral line, though, stimming all those Marines back. And oh, the tanks are caught at the front as the Banelings roll through all over all the units here.
This isn't really a cost-effective engagement by our TSL player Revival, but
he took out all those supply depots.
He took out the depots. He's still killing SCVs, and he's going to remax like almost instantly. He's already got more mutas on the way, +2 melee attack and a finish. 22 lings popping out here. So even though he doesn't trade cost efficiently, he's just going to keep trading.
Well, what else was he going to do? Sit there and just wait for the army to get bigger?
The scariest thing to happen when you're behind or when you're ahead is if your opponent maxes out, then kills your army once, and then just slowly kills all of your bases. That's the one way you can lose. So if you keep trading with your opponent, then you never allow that to happen. Well, eventually he'll run out of money.
I think that was the perfect timing for Revival to go in there as well.
Absolutely.
So we are looking at a 200 supply to 93. He's actually caught out of position. None of the tanks are sieged up. There's only a few banelings here, though. If he stops at the top of the ramp, it will be difficult. He's trying to split these Marines. But yeah, just too many units.
Way too many units. I think this is the end for lots here today.
Calling the SCVs into banelings.
Yeah, it's not looking good. There are a lot of Marines here, but just not enough.
There's lings and mutas coming in. There's not enough units here to be able to deal with it. Nope. That is going to be it.
Expect GG any second.
There it is. GG. Very happy Revival right now.
Yeah. I don't blame him. He played a good game. Lots did as well, though. He
got caught off guard by the roaches coming into the front.
Yeah, I mean, the fast expand to the gold, I think he got himself into this mindset that was like, all right, well, I'm going Reactor Hellions. He's not going to have enough roaches. It's going to be easy to stop it, but the timings worked out there. I am so impressed by Revival. This is an example, really, of like you were saying, like we were talking about earlier, knowing what map you're playing on and practicing that build. I bet you guys he practiced that build at least 80 times. 80 times or more in this week.
It's something that we've learned here since we've been here with FXO and training. It's the little tiny things in a build that you notice that actually make a massive difference. Like making 3 roaches at gold and 3 at the main. A lot of people would just panic and go, oh, I need to make roaches, and they all end up being made at the main, and it's like, oh, what am I supposed to do with these? But it's just the little tiny things, and even keeping up the aggression, knew exactly when to actually stop his roach production as well and go straight into drones. He did get a lot of kills with those initial roaches as well. And more importantly, he supply capped him a lot. He went back down to 30 supply.
He was so patient about that engagement. He picked off the depot. There was a time where he actually could have rushed in, but he was like, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to kill an SCV, walk back. Kill an SCV, walk back. He was like doing a little dance. He was doing these hand motions in his booth. I don't know how he was controlling his keyboard. But he just kept picking on the FCV here, SCV there. I'm on my way out. I'll just kill the depot a little bit, and then come back up and poke at it some more.
I have seen some players do this roach aggression, but the Terrans usually notice it coming a little bit quicker. Like, in that position, I'd say Lots was going, oh, he's making roaches to defend himself.
Exactly.
But then he actually pushed forward, and he was just too late on that bunker.
With some really good timings.
Yeah. If that bunker was up and the Marines were in there, then it completely shuts it down. Exactly. But he just thought that he was going to play defensive with it, and I really like the fact that Revival didn't, and just took that game
and as he was doing all of that aggression, he immediately got all 4 gases up. Gases at the gold, gases at the main. And from there, he had so many different opportunities to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he was going to put on some Baneling aggression, but he just got the Banelings out safe. But anyway, let's find out who Slayers is going to pick to be our second player here. Will it be the guy with number 2 on his shirt? Let's find out. And who is with the number 2? Well, it's not Ryung, so it's going to be Boxer.
No.
Oh, tricky.
The numbers did come into it.
Man. I like that. Slayers are such a creative team. They do all these little funny things that I just really like.
That's why they're fan favorites a lot. Yeah, not on top of winning, but 2 seasons.
There's Sell It and Boxer. Of course, the man himself, Ryung. He's covering a South Korean flag with 2.
Was made into the Super Tournament round of 8.
Yep.
And July Code round of 16.
He also got blunked out, basically, by Tassadar and Code. And to be honest with you guys, when I watched that game, I sat there myself, and I didn't want to say it on cast, but I was like, I think Ryung's the better player here. Tassadar just knew exactly how to deal with him. And remember, guys, Tassadar is in the finals, so watch that. It's coming up pretty soon. It's going to be a PvP finals for Code.
And his opponent's Puzzle?
Yep.
Not many people knew about Puzzle before this season.
It's true. Also, guys, remember...
Oh, there we go. Sellers noticed.
You probably heard us talking about it, actually, because he's right behind us. Guys, I also just want to mention very briefly, because I hadn't talked about it yet, but MLG is coming up soon. There's a lot of Korean players going there as well, but also GSL October finals will be at BlizzCon Anaheim. I keep forgetting to mention that at the GSL. I'm mentioning it now because it's really important. Holy check! Slayers fighting. So
hiding behind the sign.
Yep. Support fans there.
So Slayer's in a tough spot. They've lost their first game, which they have the most opportunity to prepare for. Like I was saying, they do have an eventuality and an idea on what's going to happen if they did lose that first game, so they'll be just... It's a lot easier because they know what that first and possibly second game matchup could be.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me is they sent another Terran out.
This is true. What I find to be really important in the team league that people don't really think about is how important the second match is for the losing team. Because if you lose the second one, then all of your plans fall apart.
Yep. Because
you can't actually account for anything else. And then if you lose the third game, then you're like, well, we have to just throw everything out of the bag now.
Well, the only thing you know for certain is if you keep losing.
Exactly.
So they'll have an idea for that. But it's never a good feeling to have when you've gone, oh my god, and we've just put out our first two players we thought would really take it out with. Because you always want to put your best foot forward first in this, just to get yourself a lead. And if you're down to your like third or fourth option, you're like, ah.
Yeah, because you want to use someone for that specific matchup, but you're like, but if I use you now, I have to think about the fact that I only have two players left, and I'm going to have to beat the rest of the team with these guys. And it does... There's a lot of awesome thinking that goes with the team league. I love it, and I get a little jittery and excited when I think about it, especially considering that you and I both make decisions about our own team gear in this league.
But of course, it is going to be on Crevasse.
Yep.
Very interesting map, very different gameplay-wise than a lot of the others because you do have that in-base natural. And I really think that's going to take a lot into this play here.
I think that's why they chose a Terran. They may also have something planned later on to where they don't want to deal with Crevasse. They're picking Crevasse because it's a good map for a Terran here against a Zerg. A lot of Terrans feel this way. I'm not saying that it's like absolutely a good map for Terran, but a lot of Terrans feel really strong, taking that faster backdoor expansion. And for that reason, they also may have wanted to use a Zerg later or any race later that didn't feel comfortable playing on this map, so they're getting rid of the map, playing a Terran here. So we're going to take a look at some coach interviews, though, in just a second.
아직 불안감은 솔직히 말씀드리면 약간 있어요. 그런데 풀리그이기 때문에 아직 시작 단계고 아직 1패로 가긴 하고 있는데 앞으로 다승을 하면은 플레이오프에 충분히 진출할 수 있는 실력을 가지고 있기 때문에 아직은 긍정적으로 생각하고 있습니다. 저희가 우승했을 때처럼 초심으로 돌아가서 제가 이번에는 선수들 많이 분석했고요. 그에 따른 스나이핑 카드들도 적절하게 이번에 배치했고요. 그리고 퓨마 선수라고 하죠. 이번에 우승했던 그 선수를 어떻게 잡아내느냐가 큰 이제 포인트라고 생각해서 그 선수를 집중적으로 공략을 많이 준비했습니다. 이번에 TSL과는 첫 대면인 것 같은데 아무래도 긴장을 많이 했어요. 처음 만나는 상대들이다 보니까 그래도 최선을 다해서 할 거고요. 이번에 또 전력이 좀 빠졌잖아요. 그렇지만 아직도 강팀이라고 생각하고 최선을 다하는 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
많은 팬들이 걱정을 많이 하시는데요. 저희 선수단은 매일매일 하루하루가 재밌고 즐겁게 연습에 매진하고 있고요. 그리고 5개 팀 중에 가장 프라임 팀이 상대하기 좀 껄끄럽다고 생각을 했었거든요. 근데 다행히 첫 단추를 대승으로 이끌어서 아주 기분이 좋습니다. 슬레이어스 팀 아주 강팀이고요. 하지만 우리도 NAS에서 최근 우승한 이호준 선수도 있고 아주 요즘 페이스가 좋고요. 한인수 선수도 여전히 연습 경기에서 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있기 때문에, 그리고 한규정 선수도 있고 테란 라인이 슬레이어즈 못지않게 탄탄하다고 생각을 하고 있고요. 그리고 슬레이어즈가 좀 프로토스전이 좀 약하다는 평이 많은데 저희 팀은 프로토스가 테란전이 아주 강하다고 생각하거든요. 그리고 오늘 선봉 나가는 김도현 선수도 아주 테란전에 유능하기 때문에 일단 우리 팀이 선봉이나 엔트리 지역에서 일단 우위를 가지면서 시작할 것 같고요. 초반전에 좀 스코어를 좀 많이 벌려놔서 좀 후반에 쉽게 갔으면 하는 전략이 좀 있습니다. 슬레이어즈 팀이 아주 강팀이어서 걱정이 많이 되는 부분도 있는데요. 우리 선수들이 적지만 아주 강한 선수들이기 때문에 슬레이어즈 팀과 붙었을 때 전혀 뒤처질 것 같지 않고요. 좋은 경기로 팬들에게 재밌는 선물을 좀 주었으면 좋겠습니다. 슬레이어즈 팀도 화이팅 하시고요. TSL 팀도 화이팅해서 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다.
Well, I gotta say, I really like that attitude coming from Coach Lee, just saying that he really hopes that both teams do well and show some exciting games. But on top of that, he did make some pretty bold statements, like saying that he thought that his Protoss players are better than Slayers. That's something that may end up being true, but we'll see. Oh, Slayers Elu's trying to hide. We see you.
Yeah, but that being said as well, Gentleman has been performing extremely well. And both teams realize that.
It looks so weird to see the name Gentleman right
now.
It's like, we hope to prepare well for Gentleman. Yeah, of course, guys, remember Gentleman, formerly known as Puma. So don't get confused. He did do quite well at NASL. So I heard. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go there myself, but I was doing some awesome things here in Korea, so it's okay.
Yep. But of course, we are going to have, like we were saying, Ryung versus Revival coming up on Crevasse. I think the game's actually starting, Wolf.
It is. It's actually starting. Let's find out if Slayers can tie it up 1-1, or will Revival put his team forward 2-0 here at the GSTL. Today is Jupiter.